Good morning, everybody, and welcome. It is Wednesday, the 29th of June. We are in the week of the Hollywood Bets Durban July, so we're pretty frantic, all sorts of things going on. First of all, don't forget that we have our July special, and having worked with the ringer last night, Nico and I are absolutely thrilled and delighted with our presentation, which will come up on the channel here on Clocking the Gallop. But further to that, of course, we'll be working all of the Brains Trust into those selections on the weekend. And just looking back at the July, if he's half as good as he was, looking back at the Met, if he's half as good as he was at the Met, then we're in for a very profitable weekend. So let me see if I can remind you of that. And then we'll move on to the analysis and preview of today's Western Cape meeting. Right, so let's get into that then, shall we? And just remind you of our July special. My thanks to Nico for putting together all the admin here. This is the Clocking the Gallop Extra for the biggest race meeting of the year, the Hollywood Bets Durban July. There are the details on it. Don't forget the 250 Rand will get you in for all of the meetings starting on Friday. That's where Nino will begin, of course. Then the Hollywood Bets Durban July meeting. I've mentioned all of the brains that we're using on that. And that'll be pretty exciting. I think it's the first time that we've had the ringer and used him in that capacity. So we'll, excuse me, work our way through a massive day's racing and huge carryovers and just ginormous pools. There's racing at Turffontein on Sunday, the 3rd of July, and then I'll be picking up and running with the last meeting for Kenilworth on Monday, the 4th of July. So there's the information. Once you've deposited, and this is a critical thing, don't leave us high and dry, because Nico needs to contact you on the morning of those race meetings to get you the pages and the selections. So you need to let him know that you paid and send that proof through to clockingthegallop@gmail.com or on that cell number 079 390 5747. That's the WhatsApp there, the banking details. And well, we know that the theme is show us the honey, and we're hoping to get a pot of honey over the weekend for this massive race day on Saturday and all of the race meetings around it. 250 Rand. Just one word of warning. After last night, of course, with the ringer being posted, I think this is going to go crazy. We do have a cutoff. We've got some, what shall I say, limitations in terms of what we decide to send out. Otherwise, the whole world and his wife gets the exclusive. So bear that in mind. Don't dilly-dally. Get it done sooner rather than better, because I can see that these are going to go like hotcakes. Okay, let me stop sharing that and move on to today's race meeting, which I should have somewhere. And yes, here it is here. Right. Okay, let's get into the first race. There's one race that is cut up pretty badly. Now, this first race, of course, is of much interest to us because we've got a runner in the race in the form of I Did It My Way. The syndicate members all know of Dean Canamere's take on the race. He feels that our horse will need another run to get him to where he wants to be. But whether it's my syndicate members or somebody, but somebody's backed him during the week, I believe, having spoken to the team at soccershop.bet, there was a double claim from KwaZulu-Natal and then another claim from Cape Town. So I Did It My Way, who opened at 7-1, was claimed again. He's now 5-2. He's owned by us, and we like him. We like him as a horse. He ran particularly well on debut when he was out with the washing. You'll remember Vaughan Smith said he was detached in the race, which he was, but he ran on to finish 5th and owned to state check. But this is Durbanville, first time at Durbanville, around a turn, and we are aware that, another run will bring him on. So good luck to whoever who's backed him, but we haven't. And he's currently at 5-2 in the betting. I think it's quite a competitive race. Number 8, Lang's Power, has got blinkers on for the first time. He's got a couple of runs under his belt. Number 9, Light to Heaven, can improve. The favourite is number 2, Captain Maurice, from 16-10 to 18-10. Then I actually like a little bit of number 4, Fury Nocturne, which has drifted in the betting market. So it's a bit ironic, isn't it? I've backed number 4, Fury Nocturne, and everybody else has backed Biles. But that's the nature of racing. I think it's quite competitive. If you are taking a buy pot, I would put in a few. We would be hoping to see number 7, I Did It My Way, improve to run on. But as Dean said in his message to us, first time Durbanville, you can get lost a bit on the turn. So let's hope that he runs well. And I do hope whoever backed him at 7-1 and 5-1 is correct, but it isn't us. Right, so that sums up the first race. I must tell you that Nino, who owns a part of him, actually likes him. The rest of us all think he's going to need a bit of a run. Maybe it was Nino's money, I don't know. Let's move on to race 2. Here in Nara's Dynasty, well, this is a beautiful pedigree, and the money has come for this daughter of Dynasty. We all remember the mother in Nara. I think she won 2 Mallorcas or 2 paddock stakes, not too sure which, but I think Grant Van Niekerk rode her on both. Grant rode this filly on debut. She probably needed the run for Gaynor Rupert, who bred her, of course. I don't think she was ever going to sell this pedigree. Muzzy's down there riding for Justin today, drawn 1, and I think there's massive improvement to come. So that would be my first choice in race 2, number 7 in Nara's Dynasty. One has to respect a couple of other pedigrees here. Number 6, Hazy Crazy Night. No money for her, but she's a daughter of Give Me the Green Light out of that very well performed Mary Slackmare Nightingale, who herself was very well bred. But from evidence of the betting, perhaps she'll need the run. That's number 6, Hazy Crazy Night. 4, Gypsy Express has some form. It's pretty solid, but I suspect she could be vulnerable in terms of getting beaten for the win bet. And the other horse, of course, and it does look like the natural danger, number 9, Queen of Sparta, who's had 3 starts. She's steadily been improving. The last run was okay, probably not her best. I think the second run might have been the best, but she's drawn 2, and she's this daughter of Erupt. So for me, race 2 goes like this. Number 7 in Nara's Dynasty is my first choice. Number 9, Queen of Sparta, my second choice. And then perhaps number 4, Gypsy Express at back third. The other well-bred horse is a daughter of Dynasty, number 5, Happy Chance for the Hollywood Syndicate team. Louis and Kotwa rides. That's the 5, but there's no real support for her. So I think the 3, which will get you covered, are 7, 9, and 4. Let's move on to race 3 here, shall we? And let me turn over and have a look at where we are with the third race. I don't know if you're like me, but I've got computer forms coming out of my ears with the Durban July week. Right, race 3 is a maiden special weights. Number 1, let me just bring up the betting. The Ghost Rider and Nino both felt this was a 2-horse race between number 1, War Banner, and number 3, Charlie Crocker. 2 bowled over is the other one in the betting. He's got cheap pieces first time. So, and there's a touch of long shot support for number 6, Nevada King, who is owned by Greg Ports. I'm sure Greg is hoping for a big week. Speaking of owners, though, War Banner is owned by Dr. Jamie Sim. He's got some nice runners today. Jamie's got a share in our Ben Mag horses, so he's got a busy day. He's got I Did It My Way in the first. He's got War Banner here, and then he's got I Did It My Way's brother, who's running later on, Love on Time, who's actually quite a nice horse. So he's got a busy day. I think number 1, War Banner, is useful. It's got Richard Ferree on board. He'll have to beat, of course, number 3, Charlie Crocker. But War Banner is a 3-year-old. Charlie Crocker is a 2-year-old. So the one a little bit more advanced and exposed than the other, one being over 3. But I think one also ought to mention, which Nino and Ghost Rider perhaps failed to, I dug a bit deeper here and noted, of course, that it's a maiden special weights. I think the 2 Vaughan Marshall runners are runners here because it's not a normal maiden. It's a special weights maiden. And number 9, Forever Bill, for example, is now rated a 61. Now, ordinarily in a maiden, that would make no difference. But this is a special maiden. And as a result, he's exposed, but he only is rated 61, which means he carries 56.5 kilograms. So if you have a look at his runs to War Banner and bowled over, he's got them beaten because this is a special weights maiden. So I initially thought number 9, Forever Bill, was the right horse, but then number 4, Admiral's Ransom, jumped off the page. Now he is rated slightly higher. He's rated at 63, so he's got to carry a kilogram extra. He carries 57.5, but he probably has superior form, and he's also got a better draw. He's drawn 1, number 4, Admiral's Ransom, and strictly on their last run behind the heat is on. Admiral's Ransom is basically 1 kilogram worse off, which should still leave Admiral's Ransom 2.2 lengths clear of his stable companion. So I'm going to have a little, as soon as I finish this, actually, I'm going to have a little bit of a dip on those two. I'm going to back number 4, Admiral's Ransom, and cover on number 9, Forever Bill. I might be way off, but we shall see. Just one other horse that could improve, number 7, Searchlight, is a Canamere runner ridden by Keegan DeMello. I think this fits the same category as our horse, I Did It My Way. He's running for the first time at Durbanville, and he might get a bit lost on the turn, but he's got a nice pedigree for his owners, George and Jonathan and Mark. I mean, it's George, Jonathan, Mark, Tony Peter, and Anthony Peter, and Mrs. Malherbe. So there could be some improvement for the back end of quartets. Quite an interesting race, I thought. But remember that in a special weights maiden, if you haven't got a handicap, if you haven't been officially handicapped by the handicapper because you haven't had the 3 runs, then you've got a default to, in the case of the 2-year-olds, to 57 kilograms. So that does set up a race for a horse that is exposed on the handicapper but looks quite well in. And I mentioned those 2 horses, 4 and 9, and obviously 1, the standard bearer there. Okay, let's move on to race 3. Race 4. As I say, I like race 3. I thought that was quite interesting. Race 4 is the race that's cut up. There's a couple of scratchings to add to the one that you see on screen. Number 1, Carrigan joins number 2, Future Contract, and also number 9, If You Please. Those 3 come out, 1, 2, and 9, and it paves the way for, and I think that here, Nino is spot on. He says it's a 2-horse race between 3, Simply Beautiful, and 8, Perilla. Although there has been money, as you see, for number 5, Love Rules. So you should probably factor that in. This is the first timer. She's a daughter of Dynasty. From a pick 6 point of view, of course, you don't need her. You just need the first raced horse home if number 5, Love Rules, were to win. But she's beautifully bred for Michael DeBrolio, who owns her. And Muzzy rides from a 3 draw. So I would respect the money for number 5, Love Rules. Touch of money as well for some outsiders. Number 4, Lady of Gold, is beautifully bred, daughter of Gold Standard, out of the Western Wintermere Lady Windmere. And right at the bottom there, Crystal, number 11, My Mia, has been tickled up as well. But on face value, money for number 5, Love Rules, and Nino suggests that it's a 2-horse race between 3, Simply Beautiful, and the 8, who has drifted a bit in the betting market. Okay, let us move on to race 5, shall we, today at Durbanville. Race 5. Let's see. I will be probably arriving in Durban by then. We're on the road driving to Durban today. We're probably not there just yet when race 5 is run. This is a maiden plate. This is a standard maiden plate. And Nino liked a little bit of the horse I liked, actually, which is number 7, Future Turn. And this is a son of Futura who will definitely relish the extra 400 meters. And I've mentioned Greg Bortz has got a big week ahead of him. We've got Muzzy Yearning riding from a 3 draw. And I think he's an improver. I'm not so sure there's value now at 5-2, but there probably was at 7-2. The form horse here is number 11, Pardon Nom, from Dean's Yard, Dean Canamere for Kaya Stables. And he should improve to win, but he's got the draw of 11. And of course, Durbanville, well, these days the draw isn't perhaps as difficult to overcome as it used to be, but it nevertheless is still tough, even post the track configuration. So number 11, Pardon Nom, has to come from an 11 draw. That's his biggest challenge. If he does manage to deal with that, I think he'll go very close to winning. But I'm with Nino as number 7, Future Turn, as the danger. Pretty much everything else exposed. Number 6, Federal Reserve, must get a mention. He's drawn 1 for Kotson and Greg Sheen. I think it'll run nicely there. Yeah, number 1, Galactic Path, ran pretty well in that light speed race, but he's shown signs of respiratory noises, which is always a bit worrying. So for me to sum up, value-wise, certainly when number 7, Future Turn, was 7-2, I would have gone for him value. So let me stick with him. 7, 11, and 6 for me there. Let's move on to race 6. at Durbanville today and tell you what Nino liked in the 6th race. Nino, the Ghost Rider. Very open race, middle stakes, fillies and mares. Number 1, Jasmine. Funnily enough, it would also be my sort of value play for swingers and trifectas in the race. That and number 6, Just Power. But you can see the way they've priced up. I think it's going to be pretty competitive. Golden Dar's gone for a bit of a walk in the betting, 28 to 10 out to 7 to 2. But I think that's the nature of the race. It is fairly open. I would suggest to you that every horse has a winning chance here. And as a result, I'd go field. But I certainly would incorporate the likes of 1, Jasmine, and 6, Just Power in my play. But a very open race, race 6. Arguably the most open race on the card, being a middle stakes, fillies and mares. On we go to race 7, another middle stakes. This is for Geldings. Good to see Pack Leader back. How long is it since he's run? 165 days. Always been a nice horse, but he hasn't won for nearly 600 days, Pack Leader. Interesting. I'm sure he'll need the run. Anyway, let's have a look at the betting here for race 6. And let me remind myself what Nino liked here. Oh, he liked the same horse I do. So again, we're on the same page, and that's number 8, Sugar Mountain. I liked 2 here, Sugar Mountain and Gallic Tribe. Gallic Tribe is actually the better one in terms of this race and the weights. He's got to carry 58, so too is Sugar Mountain. So he's carrying the same weight as the 3-year-old. Best weighted, though, interestingly enough, is number 2, Keep It Secret. Craig Zaki rides. It ran a much improved race last time. But I do think that number 7, Gallic Tribe, and number 8, Sugar Mountain will run well. So those are my first 2. There's been a touch of money for number 3, Han Solo. Well, Richard Faree gets on really well with this horse. He's ridden it 6 times, 3 wins and 2 seconds. And he is the type of horse I believe that will be suited to Durbanville. He's run there twice. And he's actually hasn't got great form at Durbanville, which is a surprise. But I think he's improved since then. And whatever issues he had, Glenn Potson has got to the bottom of him. And he's ultra consistent. Now back at Durbanville from a 2 draw. I think that he does set a standard. So I wouldn't leave number 3, Han Solo, out. Those would be my 3 principles: 7, Gallic Tribe, 8, Sugar Mountain, and 3, Hans Solo. Those are the 3, yeah. For me in that race. Have I got anything else marked? Well, interesting, Benjamin, number 10, has got blinkers on today. Keegan DeMelo rides. He is 1.5 kilograms better off with number 9, the Futurist, but that theoretically shouldn't take him past the Futurist. So that's why I haven't got him in my top 3. So let's move on from that race with confirmation that I like 7, 8, and 3 there. If there is to be a surprise, well, it could be pretty much anything beyond those 3. Into the last race, Van Hunks is where I'm going to start. I like him a little bit. So did Nino when we discussed the card last night. His last run was behind Pomodoro's Jet. He maybe found that a bit too hot a contest, but prior to that, he'd been very poorly drawn. He'd been drawn 7 out of 7, 7 out of 7, and 7 out of 9 here at Durbanville. The drop back to 12.50, I think, is interesting. I think that'll help number 1, Van Hunks. He's out of he's by Silvana, out of a Fujiachi Pegasus mare, very strong family, that our Table Mountain, and a lot of them do stay. But I think that Justin's right. Maybe this one doesn't, or not as well as the others anyway. So he's been dropped back to the 12.50. Muzzy rides, nice draw of 2, and number 1, Van Hunks, certainly gets a mention from me. The favorite is at the bottom there, number 9, Seeking the One. It's a big week, of course, for all trainers, Brett Crawford and Louis Nkotwa. They've got Zafatias in the big one on the weekend. And I've been very open about the fact that I gave him a sneak a couple of months ago. I phoned and contacted Brett and said I liked him a bit for the July, told me what his plans were, that he'd raid from Joburg. And that's what happened, of course, and he won the Guineas in good style. So it's a big week for them. We wish all the trainers and owners all the best for the Hollywood Bets Durban July. But number 9, Seeking the One, is a 2-year-old. The negative here, he's drawn 9. So I mentioned earlier on, 9 out of 9 at Durbanville is never easy, even with the slight changes to the configuration of the track, making it easier to be competitive from a higher draw. And he did win extremely well, but one has to factor in the fact that he's going to be drawn 9. He is certainly not going to see the fence unless he goes very quickly and manage to track over. But of course, in doing that, he'll use up some energy. So I wouldn't be rushing out. I mean, not saying he can't win. Of course he can. But I wouldn't be rushing out to Snaffle 22-10 from a 9 draw, a 2-year-old here at Durbanville for the first time. So I mentioned 1 Van Hunks. The other horse I do want to mention, number 5, Love on Time. He is the brother to our horse. I Did It My Way runs in the first race. So I'm hoping it's a good day for the mare, Easy in Love, bred by our good friends Jaco and Carolyn Erasmus. And I think he'll run well. He's better than his last run. He hasn't run at Durbanville, but I think he's suited to Durbanville, number 5, Love on Time. And Keegan DeMella rides from a 4 draw, so he would be my 3rd choice in what could be an open race if number 9, Seeking the One, fails to deliver. So to sum up in that race, 1 Van Hunt's my value play. Number 5, Love on Time, could be a shrewdie. So disappointed with number 6, All Lit Up. I said last time, that's it for me. I can't go for him again. And I left him on the sidelines. Where did he finish? 4th again. Yeah, if I'd backed him, I would have been disappointed. I mean, he was doing some low flying and was unlucky. I think I remember the race. Maybe he can get on the premises, but gee whiz, he's been disappointing, this horse. He's only a 1-time winner. No fault of Eric Sands. He just doesn't want to put it in, or he finds problems. He's one of those horses that, unfortunately, trouble seems to follow him everywhere. But he's got Smunga Kamalo on 3 draw. He could pop up, but I can't go for him because I've just spent too much money on him before. I think on Met Day or something I went for him. Met Day. 8th of January, was that Met Day? I think it might have been. Anyway, disappointed. And yes, because Gavin rode him. I thought Gavin would be able to help him, and he tried, but he didn't help himself. Did All Lit Up. Okay, so let me add him to 4th place. So that selection for me there, 1, 9, 5, and 6 in the last. Okay, I think I've pretty much covered everything, so I can get out of there and wish you all the best at Durbanville today. To our syndicate owners, the Ben Mag Bloodstock Syndicate, good luck. So far, we find some wood. We've done okay with Ready to Fly. He's out of the maidens. I Did It My Way. Really didn't know what was going on debut and did remarkably well to finish 5th, but he has been backed. I hope they're right, but first time Durbanville around the turn. I'm sure he'll be some way back turning for home, but let's hope that he runs on. But good luck to all my syndicate members. Good luck to the punters today. Plenty more to come from Ben Mag Bloodstock. Of course, we've still got a couple, very small amount of percentages available in our Ben Mag Black Syndicate, which is I'm just about to nail down. So don't leave that too long. Particularly on Durban July week. Thank you very much to everybody. Have a great day. And we've still got a Take a Bet show to come up. And I'm sure that somewhere today I will find a price booster for you. Thanks, everybody. Safe travels. Bye-bye.